Hello and what's up to you all grade 11s, pre-matriculants. This is your favorite show, your life science show, and we're here to learn more and learn extra. My name is AB Abram and I'm joined by Lou, of course. How are you, Lou?
All right, and yourself, AB?
I'm good. It's been a while, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, since last year, as you said.
Happy Year.
You too, hope you have a lovely one.
I had a great one. Otherwise, what are we doing today?
Plant reproduction. The reproduction is the main point here. What do you think?
I think so too.
That's it.
And mindsetters love that topic.
Yeah, I
especially
agree.
when it comes to life sciences.
That's it.
Talking about that, let me tell them that if they have some questions, feel free, mindsetters, to go to facebook.com/learnextra. Like the page. If you've liked the page, share it with all your friends, your classmates, your cousins. Even tell your teachers about mindset. Let them join us and let them answer some questions on our Facebook page. But otherwise, you can also follow us on Twitter @learnextra. I'll read some of your tweets later on. Lastly, get your notes from learn.mindset.co.za. We have something interesting for you. We have a competition for the mindsetters.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah?
On their notes, they have some test yourself questions.
Yes,
So what they need to do is to download the notes, write their answers, and then submit via the link that I'll post on Facebook. Then they stand a chance of winning an awesome airtime voucher, probably sponsored by Vodacom.
Okay, now,
So who doesn't want airtime?
How do I get that?
All the details on Facebook.
But I got
So
to teach now.
jump to Facebook, facebook.com/learnextra, and a big shout out to everybody that is watching right now. Otherwise, tell us more about the challenge question and let's get on it.
Okay, well, first of all, let me just tell you what we're going to do today. As I said, it's plant reproduction, right? And in this lesson, we're going to look at the different, let me just get some pens going there. We're going to look at the different types of reproduction, right? And then we're going to look at the reproductive mechanisms of bryophytes, pteridophytes, and gymnosperms. Right, so that's what we're going to look at, no more than that. Okay, but let's give this challenge question. Okay, what I want you to do, I'm going to read it in nice terms, right? I want you to tabulate, okay? I know it doesn't say tabulate, but I want you to tabulate pteridophytes and gymnosperms, the life cycle of it, right? So we're looking at the life cycle. I want you to tabulate and compare, so tell me the difference between them, between pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Right, so that is the question. Let's see how we can get. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move, just so we can get some new ideas and look at certain things, because it's always good to see things. Right, so if you follow me, right, it's time to get some specimens out. Right, so you know that you always get an order that we do things in. Right? So we go for the most simplest to the most complex. The only difference is we're not going to get to the most complex. We're going to go just one before that. Okay, so I'm going to start putting things on the table here, and I want you to think. I'm just going to put one thing at a time, explain it, and take it from there. Right, so the first thing I have, I want to get nice and dirty. Here it is. Right, that's cool. And I'm just going to whip it out and put it down. I will try and show you as best as possible. I've got a nice piece. There we go. Right. Well, that's better. Hey, how do you like that? I hope you can see that nice and clearly. Have a good look at that. Right. What do you think that is? Take a good look. Right. Now, this here is actually, you don't get it in such good condition. Okay. This was found, you won't believe it, in the gutters. Right. But this is also found in quite a few places, like on your walls, sometimes in the garden, right? In biological terms, this is a bryophyte. In other words, it's moss. And if I have a good look at that, that there is the gametophyte generation, right? What is a gametophyte generation? It's the most, or it lives its longest part in the gametophyte generation. Right, remember the, what do you call it, the alternation of generations. Gametophyte generation is what happens, and then we still get the sporophyte generation. This here is a gametophyte generation, because we don't have those funny little things that are coming out, which I want you to give me the name, right? Send it to AB, right? I want to know what the name of the sporophyte generation is, that little piece that comes out. Right, so you've all had a good look at that. Next one. I went around, and after finding this, it's not in such good detail, but you can see the stuff quite clearly, which is nice. So this was found in the garden, right? And if you have a good look, I'm going to put it in front of these, right? There it is. Can you have it? Can you see it? Right, now, that there, if you have a look, it is your Gymnosperm generation, which is this nice green part, right? And on this one, they've also got that green part, but not as luscious as this. But on top of this green part, you see these things here, right? These ones here. I keep wanting to say the name, but I got to try not because I want the answer from you, right? This part here is a Sporophyte generation. So if I pull one out, hopefully you'll see it. There we go. There it is. Look at that. That part there is a Sporophyte generation. And right at the tip, this little tip piece here, right? The capsule. You see it? Inside there, you're going to find your spores. Now, that is your Sporophyte generation. Okay, so that is the bryophyte. The most simplest thing. Right, so Abram, what do you think, It's quite cool,
It's quite cool, and already there's some answers that are coming in.
Oh, good. Let me hear what it is.
The first one say it's alga.
It's
alga.
Alga. Okay, carry on. Let's hear. What else is there? Only one.
Only one for now.
Only one for now. I'm going to keep it. Let me see how many you can bring in. Right. I'm not saying right or wrong yet. I want to see how many we can get in. Okay, let me wipe. Let's keep this place clean. Next one, I'm having a look at this little thing. I made sure I brought a little one. I don't want to let it go so you can actually see it. Now, this little thing is very, very, very small, right? And if you have a look, I'm sure I've got something here. I did see it. There. Hold on. Let me get it so that I can show you nicely. Right, there it is. Okay. If you have a look where this toothpick is over here, you see this dark place here. That is what I wanted to show you, but you're not going to get in close enough. You actually have to get to, not a microscope, but a bioviewer, right? You got a bioviewer over here, and the bioviewer will show you a lot closer. And that there is actually that heart-shaped thing. This heart-shaped thing. Now, have you noticed I'm not giving you certain words? I want you to give me those words. That heart-shaped thing is a specific part. It's actually the Gymnosperm generation again, right? I want to know what that heart thing is like. But this here, as I said, it's very difficult to get. This is the pteridophyte, right? And this is a very, very young one. It's already started getting this part that I'm holding, which is the Gymnosperm generation. But this heart, remember, is the Sporophyte generation. The heart is the Gymnosperm, right? So let's increase the size of it because we need to get big, always. Right, so put that down so we can keep it. Then, here it is. Look at that. Abram, what's a pteridophyte? Take a guess. There it is. It's right in front of me. What do you think this is?
It's a feather or
it's
fan.
A fern. Right, it's a fern. That's nice. It's a normal fern. It's a beautiful fern, but I want you to have a good look, right? There's nothing special about it. It's just a leaf, right? Now, this leaf, in actual fact, is quite special. This one is the normal, simple leaf, okay? This one is what produces the stuff called spores. Now, they normally say your spores are on the underside of the pinna, right? The underside. Now, if you have a look at that side, can you see the spores? Look close. Can you see the spores anywhere? Okay, I'm going to turn it around because maybe that's the front of the leaf. Let me turn it around. Can you see the spores anywhere? Because if you see the spores, you are brilliant. Because I've been looking for the last couple of hours and I cannot find one. So what I did was I went and got a microscope. Right, a microscope, and I looked nice and deep, and I went deep into that. I can see the spores, right? And I took a photo, right? And I made another leaf. I'm kidding. It's a real leaf. I didn't do that. Have a look carefully at the underside of this leaf. Can you see those little black things? Look close, right? Those are the spores. That is what makes new fern, right? That is what falls on the ground and produces the... I made sure I didn't tell you. All the spores, right? That's the spores that we find underneath the pinna, and that is very, very important for the reproduction of this plant. Right, so there's the fern. I gave you the small one, I gave you the one without the spores, and I gave you one with spores. So hopefully you'll remember this. And just think in a test, that is what it looks like. Little dots underneath, and it's nice and big. It's actually like a black dot. Right. So that's that one. The next one I want to show you is this. Okay. Now, Abram told me he could use this for shaving, right, to keep the stuff going. But this is not for shaving. This here is called a gymnosperm, right? And the gymnosperm is the cone-bearing plants. Now, I don't see any cones on this thing, right? All I see is these tiny needle-like leaves, right, which are green. Okay, so they do photosynthesize in that, which is green. So I've got that one. I've got another one. Here it is. There's more, and there's a reason why I brought one of these as well. Okay, so there's this. Now, the whole part about this is we're doing the reproductive system. Right, so I need to show you the reproductive system. So, of course, ladies first. Am I right, Abram?
Yes, you are.
Ladies first. So we're going to start off with a young lady, right? Remember when a young lady is immature, right? This is the type of cone we get. Okay, so I'm going to move these across. It's a type of cone. I want you to have a good look at it. Okay, can you see it's not open? Okay, there's no opening of these big, funny protrusions, right? There's no opening. You can't get in there. Okay. The only way we're going to get in there is if it becomes mature. And once it's mature, it looks like that. Okay? That's the top piece. Now it's sitting in the same direction. These have opened up all the way. Okay? Now normally it's closed like this. It opens up a little bit, and the males are normally above it because this is on the nice big strong branches. The males are above it, and when the wind blows it shakes and all the male gametes fall off and fall into this and go and fertilize, right? And to be able to fertilize it, it's got to open, but it's not going to open this wide. It's going to open a little bit less. Now, why do you think you would open this wide? Okay, there's a specific reason. That reason I've got. I made sure I went and found some for you. Very difficult, but I did go find it for you. It is here somewhere. There it is. Okay. By the way, I'm going to show you the male spore in a few seconds. There it is. Just be very gentle with these things. Right? Hopefully you can see that. Right? This here is the seed. Okay? So the seed, if I have a good look at it, the seed is this part here. I want to get a nice little pin here. This part here, this big part here is a seed, and this part here is like a thin little parachute. So this is normally found inside here. So what happens is the wind blows, this shakes, this falls out, and instead of falling straight to the ground, right? Because if it falls straight to the ground, what's going to happen? This big tree is going to steal all its water and it's going to die. So what it does is it actually starts flying away. It's like a helicopter, right? And it flies away and it goes to a different part, falls on the ground, and then it goes through, it goes into the ground and starts growing. Right, so that is what that specific thing is for. But I've showed you female cones, right? Now I need to show you a male cone. Now, there's definitely male cones in here. You can't see them, but there is. So let's go and find some quickly for you. I'm going to be nasty with this thing. There we go. I'm going to pull it out. Sorry, I don't like destroying things, but I've got to destroy it sometimes. Right, there it is. Have a good look while I'm breaking it all off. That's it. Can you see the male cone? It's nice and small, hey? Right? It's nice and small. Now that little cone there produces the male gametes. Okay? Now that is quite a small one. Let me see. I know I've got a big one here somewhere. I definitely saw a big one. You can see how the male gametes over there, if I pull it out, the male gamete over there, it's already lost most of it, right? Okay, that part there is very, very important. Without that, we're not getting new trees, right? And then lastly, just to make it fun, I have one that I've saved, right? It's a little bit bigger so that you can see it. I've got to be very gentle, right? There it is. There's the male cone. It's a nice big male cone. And that there carries the male gametes, right? Have a good look at that. Okay? Look at the difference, or think about the difference in sizes between the male cone and the female cone. Okay? The male cone, remember, creates microspores, and the female cone does megaspores. Okay, now, it wasn't a lot, but it's something. It's something that can explain it to you, and hopefully in a test you can think about it and understand where we're coming from. Right, please don't forget, there's different types of reproduction, right? You get asexual and sexual. And I think when we come back from the break, right, because I definitely need one, right? We're going to go through some questions, and I'm going to just give you a brief overview on how to do things. But the notes are there. I've given you notes. It's on the slideshows. Make sure you have a look at it, and it'll help you out quite a bit. Hey, Abram?
Yes, indeed. So many mindsetters are puzzled, and some surprised that they didn't know some of these things. But otherwise, you're not alone. You're with us. Otherwise, when you come back, we are going to be announcing yesterday's winner for the Grade 11 show. So make sure that if you'd like to be the winner for tomorrow, you answer the test yourself questions and submit your answers on the link that is provided on Facebook. See you after the break. Welcome back, pre-matriculants. Now, as promised to you that we are going to be announcing the winner of yesterday's show. And our winner for the airtime voucher, proudly sponsored by Vodacom on a Grade 11 show, is Apiwe Morgan Makatini. Congratulations to you, buddy. You've won yourself an airtime voucher. So keep testing yourself, and maybe it will be you, mindsetter, tomorrow. Keep those answers coming on the link that is posted on Facebook. And a big shout out also to another mindsetter that is watching, Martinique, saying a shout out to Martinique. I love this show. It rocks. And everybody that is watching, a big shout out to you.
Nice. Now, we got some answers, right?
Yes.
That heart-shaped thing, do you know what it's called? Can you remember? Did somebody give me an answer?
Yes, so many other mindsetters like Maria say it's a rhizot. And other mindsetters say, Selby says the heart-shaped thing is, it's a prothallus.
Nice. That's exactly what it is. It's actually called a prothallus. A rhizoid, right, remember, is roots and it's fake roots. If you know, you get what I'm trying to say. It looks like roots, but it's not real roots. Okay, it's found on a thallus. A rhizoid is found on a thallus, but a prothallus is that heart-shaped thing. Right, that's very nice. And then the last one, did anybody else give me the answer of that little part of the moss?
Let me see. That one, there's one that says, okay, it's a moss.
It's a moss.
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course it's a moss. That's what we're looking at, right? It's like telling me, I ask, what is this? And you say it's a human, right? It's called, anybody? I'll leave it longer. Make sure that you come to me. I want that answer. Come, let's go, guys. Now, let's have a look at this heart-shaped thing that's called a specific name, right? So heart shape, we need to know where it comes from, right? So let's have a look at the first question, because we need to have a look at questions. The first one, we get yellow going here. Oh, no, wait. Touch. Okay. It says there, what is the structure called? So we need to have a look at what this heart-shaped thing's called. That was the question I asked you. Can you remember? And it is called a prothallus. That thing there is a prothallus. It is, let me just check. It's a prothallus. So that's all we need to put down is prothallus. The reason why I didn't give you any more is because I know for a fact I'm going to ask the question again that I'm going to ask. Right, so let's see. The next one. Name the plant whose life cycle the structure forms, right, part of. So in other words, they're asking you, this prothallus, where does it come from? Which plant does it belong to? Okay, now I've given a nice easy answer under there. But I'm going to tell you the big answer, okay? It comes from part of the pteridophytes. In other words, it comes to, see, that's the problem, the fern. Come on. Comes to the fern. Okay, the fern is a pteridophyte. So it's not, these are nice and simple, right? So if I have a look at the next one, it says, is the structure haploid or diploid? Oh, big words, haploid and diploid. Dip means two, am I right? So make sure you remember. Diploid means two, haploid means one. So haploid is half the amount of diploid. You with me? Okay? Diploid is how many chromosomes are in every cell in our body. Haploid tells you it's the sex cells. It's half the amount of the chromosomes. Okay, so it's the quickest way I can tell you this. Okay, so I want to know, is the structure over here, is the structure haploid or diploid? In other words, if I put it in a nice, easy way of looking at it, is it the gametophyte generation or is it in the sporophyte generation? And of course, come on, it is definitely in the gametophyte generation. So it is haploid. Okay, it's a haploid figure, half the amount of chromosomes. Okay, next one. Identify the plant labeled 1, 2, 3. So 1 and 2 and 3. Not 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. If we go up, 1, we're looking at this part over here. So let me get my pen going. That part over there. 2, I'm looking at this specific part here. And 3, I'm looking at this specific part here. Okay, so 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now, if I bring it down, that piece there, right, that part there is between the top part of the heart shape, right? The other part is the top part of the heart, and the last one is the bottom part, not really the heart of this prothallus organism. So, if it comes down to the end, we've got the first one, which is its notch. It's the notch between, right? That little bendy part is the notch. The next one is the archegonium, the female part where the female gametes are found, right? And the last one is the andrecium where we find the male part of the plant. Okay, so this is quite simple and nice and easy. Okay, the next one I'm having a look at, it says identify the part numbered 4 and state its function. Now, this is awesome because number 4 is these little hair-like structures. Can you see? Okay, now the hair-like structures, if I had to ask this question, right, you would get, what's that girl's name that gave me that answer that I said wasn't right? It was a prothallus. What was it?
I think it's Maria.
Maria. Maria gave me prothallus, hey?
Yes.
Now I'm looking for the other girl.
The other girl, okay, no, Maria gave you the rhizode.
That's it, but then it is Maria. Maria, now you give me that answer. Right, what are those hair-like structures? That is your answer. So now you've got it. Now you know what's the difference. Prothallus, the rhizoids, there it is. The rhizoids are found on the prothallus. Okay, the rhizoids are root-like structures. In other words, what is it used for? Okay, used for anchorage, and it's used for absorption of minerals and water. Okay, that is what a rhizoid is. It's little root-like structures. False roots, can you remember? Okay, so hopefully I've explained it to you. Right, now, the next one. Describe how fertilization, oh, this is going to be a long one. Describe how fertilization takes place in this structure. Now that is a very, very big answer. They want to know what actually happens. Okay, now, I'm going to go to the picture first before I explain this to you, right? Because this is the best way to do it. Going all the way up again. Now, remember that this part here, I'm going to use green, right? This part here is the female. Okay, is the male, right? And this part here is the female. Now, what actually happens is the sperm at the male, right, is held on by a cap, right? That cap releases the sperm, okay? And now the sperm has got to go to the female part, to this part over here. Okay, it's got to swim up there. But how does it know where to go to? Right? In this part here, in the female part over here, is a little tunnel before the female part here at the bottom. Okay? And that tunnel is very important because it protects that female archegonium, right? It protects that seed, right? That female part, right? It protects it nicely. But that tube has got another function. That tube secretes this mucousy type of stuff, right? And as it's secreted, right, this sperm can actually pick it up, and it actually tells the sperm, yeah, but come this way, you know, yeah, it's here. That's what it's trying to say. You understand? So that's its job, that little tunnel-like thing. And then, of course, the sperm will swim because it needs water all the way up to there. It'll go inside, and fertilization will take place. Right, so that is in a nice, simple way of explaining it to you, and hope you can understand that, right? So let's go back and have a look at this answer to make sure I know what I'm talking about, right? Here we go. Simple and easy. I say to you, there is a cap, a cell cap, that holds the andrecium, right? It holds it so that it doesn't go anywhere until it's time, okay? It breaks off, it dislodges, is a bigger word, a nice word. It breaks off and it gets released, right? The neck canal cells, in other words, is like the little canal, right? Those cells of the archegonium secretes a slimy substance which attracts the sperm, nice and easy. It attracts the sperm, and the sperm will swim down the neck canal and fuse with the egg cell to form a diploid zygote. See, you must learn to understand it. You must picture it. You must understand it. And once you've understood it, right, then comes the way to put it into words. You need to be able to do both. If you can understand the question and understand what's going on, you must be able to put it to paper. So when you're studying, make sure you do both. It's pointless just reading, okay, I understand it. But can you put it onto paper? Okay, because me, I'm not sitting that exam marking you while you're busy writing. Okay, I'll mark you afterwards, so I don't know how you're thinking. You must be able to put it down onto paper that I can understand. Right, and for the record, I don't know about how your educators do it, but me, I say to my kids, when I mark your papers, I do not understand life science. Hey, Abram? I do not understand it. I am like nothing upstairs, nothing, right? So you are trying to tell me what life science is about. Okay, so you must give me the facts. You must make me understand it. The better you write that I can understand it, the better marks you get. Hey, can you see it in that way? It's simple. Right, yeah, but you got to get it right. That's the problem. Right, that's the problem. So I am clever, but I'm not. Right, so let's have a look at the next question. Okay, the next question, it's also on this picture, right? And it says, is this method of reproduction, so is this method of reproduction suitable for successful survival on land? And explain your answer. So, is it suitable to live on land? That's the first question. That'll be for 1 mark. You answer that question first. You have to. Am I a male? Explain your answer. You got to say, yes, I'm a male. If you just explain why I'm a male, you're only going to get the marks for explaining the male. You're not going to tell me or give me the answer of the first question. First question is this method of reproduction suitable, right, for successful survival on land? And the answer is, of course, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be on land. Of course it is. And the main reason for that is the archegonia, right, is nice and high up, and it's protected. Well, not high up. It's protected inside. So remember, you got those cells, and those cells protect it quite nicely. Okay? So let's have a look at it. Right? We bring it down. It is suitable for survival on land. Answered the first question. Right? And then it says, the archegonium is sunken, giving it a greater protection for the egg. It's sunken so that it's protected. The more you protect it, the more chance you have of surviving. Right. So you with me here? I'm glad. Okay, so the next one. In what way, this is quite a cool one. In what way do the sperm of moss, so let me underline it. In what way do the sperm of moss and ferns, right, differ from those of spermatophytes? Okay, now what is a spermatophyte? Okay, you've got to think about that carefully. What is spermatophytes? There's 2 of them that we know of. One is gymnosperms, and the other one is, come on, the other one is, tell me, let's see if you give me the answer. Okay, what is the difference between that, the moss and the fern? What is so similar about them, and what is different about spermatophytes? Their sperm, right? Their sperm is the main key word here. So, if I think about it, sperm, moss and ferns. Yeah, Abram's having a laugh here. It's ridiculous, right? Moss and ferns need water. Yes, so do spermatophytes. You're sitting there thinking, yeah, this teacher hasn't got a clue, right? They all need water to drink. Yes, yes. But the fern and the moss need water for fertilization. Okay? If that water does not arrive, if there's no water there, that sperm cell is going nowhere. It sits there and stays there, nowhere else. Think about that. Okay? So if we need water for fertilization, how do you think this sperm cell is going to move from point A to point B? Right. Let's think about that. If we look at AB. AB, how are you going to get from one side of the pool to the other side of the pool?
You're going to swim across.
Swim. Did you hear that? Swim. Beautiful. You're going to swim, right? And what is the main part that you swim with? Some of them have got big boats. Okay? What do you think it is? What is it? Kicking. Right? You give it horns. Right? You give everything. Now, the sperm of this moss and that have got the twirl, and it twirls and it spins it off like a boat. Right. So let's have a look at this answer. Okay. It's actually quite a simple answer, and it's something that you can't forget. Okay. Firstly, the sperm of the moss, right, and of course fern, have the stuff called flagella, right? And that is very important because they need to move, right? They need to swim through water to reach the egg. Very important. Now, the sperm of the fern also has flagella. Same reason. It's got to swim. There we go. Needs to swim through water. But the gymnosperms is the first one. Have you noticed how I said gymnosperms and not the an? I love giving clues, eh? Right? Uses wind to disperse pollen. Right? Uses wind to disperse pollen. Okay? Now, the pollen grain, have you noticed how we say the sperm and then pollen grain? Big thing, very big thing, very important. Okay? That is what makes them different. That's what makes it more complex already. Why it doesn't need water. Okay, so why it doesn't need water. Can somebody tell me why, what made the gymnosperm stop using water for fertilization? Let's see if I can, hey, how's that? I think that we need to give that question out. Okay, so what, let me just repeat it. What has happened to the sperm of the gymnosperms to stop it from using water as fertilization? Okay, well, as the mechanical to move the sperm to the female part. Right, okay, so next one. The question is, why do gymnosperms and grasses produce more pollen than the rest of the spermatophyte? The spermatophyte generation, right? The spermatophytes. Why do they produce a lot more pollen? Okay, now it's a big thing. Now, if I go back to the previous question and the answer we answered with, there's a big key word there. Okay, oh, you watch carefully. I'm just going to circle it. Wind, right? It's wind. Now, the wind is the most important thing because what happens is grass has the male gamete, right, and the female gamete, and so does the pine cone, the pines, right? And what happens is the wind blows that male gamete, and what does the male gamete do? It drops all its pollen grains, right? Now, this pollen grain is falling, and it's got to land on the female cone, right? Now, if I had one pollen grain, what is the chances of it falling on that cone? Because if I go and it comes down and I decide to sneeze, right, the pollen grain's gone. It's not near the cone anymore, right? So you've got to have lots, tons, right? The more there is, the more chance you have of fertilization happening. Hey? You get that, Abraham? Mm. I think that's a stunning way of looking at it. And let's have a look at the answer, right? Pines and grasses use wind to pollinate their male and female gametes rather than insects, birds. Okay, they are very important. They use wind. Simple. Okay. Now, next one. Explain the term sexual and asexual. Right. Explain the term sexual and asexual. Now, sexual and asexual. Can you tell me what that is, Arno? What do you think it is?
I can tell you after the break.
You want to think about it?
Yes.
I suppose, huh? I got to give him a chance. He's clever. I'll see you.
Right, Mentors, let's take that break. While we take that break, let's think about the answers, and you test yourself and then stand a chance of winning an awesome voucher, airtime voucher, probably sponsored by Vodacom, by answering or submitting your answers to the posted link on Facebook. We'll see you after this. Welcome back, awesome premium succulents. Lou is doing something that I don't know. He's trying to be funny. But otherwise, keep your questions coming, because straight after this challenge question, we are going to take your questions. Lou, tell us what is exciting you about the challenge question?
First of all, right, the biggest word that I need you to understand, right, it's the biggest thing out, and I'm making sure that I tell you, okay, is this thing here, right? This word, tabular, okay? That is a word called tabulate. It means put it in a table. That is not put one this side and say, this is what happens here, this is what happens here, this is what happens here, or put it in point form. It's got to be in a table. You get marks for drawing in the table. Please make sure you stick in a table. It's free marks. I mean, if you need 1 mark to get an A, there it is. I'm giving it to you for free, for nothing, and for
nothing.
Oh, there we go. You know, yeah, mahala.
For free.
For nothing. Right. So that's it. Okay? We got to have a look at it. What is the difference between? Remember, this is the life cycles. It was the life cycles. Hey, what is it? Yeah, the life cycles between the two. Okay, let's have a look at the first one. Okay, on this, I made sure that I did this quite nicely. Okay, we're going to have a look. One type of sporangium. First of all, there's one type of sporangium. Okay, and the one type of sporangium in spores on the undersurface of the front. Oh, did you understand that? Because I didn't. Okay, so let me get this right. Let me put this right. There is one type of spores. It's not male, it's not female. It's one type of spore, right? And it's on the underside of the leaf. Those little black dots on the fern, can you remember? It's the underside, it's the back side of the leaf, and there's one type. No male, no female. It's just there. You with me? Okay, you understand that one. If I have a look at the gymnosperm, there are 2 types, right? There are 2 types, there it is, of sporangia. It's 2 types, okay? There is a megasporangium in the pollen sac and the nucleus tissue. Oi. Okay, nucleus. Nucellus, should I say. It's the nucellus, there's a nice big word, a nucellus tissue. There's 2 types of things. In other words, there is going to be a male part and there's going to be a female part in the gametophyte generation. Right. To pteridophytes, only one type of spore. Gymnosperms, 2 types of spores. Right. Okay. Next one. Let me bring this down a bit. I'm going to undo them both at the same time so you can see it. Okay. Here we go. Homosporous, heterosporous. It's exactly what I just told you. Okay? Homosporous, homo means the same. It is one, right? Heterosporous means 2 different. Okay? So in the gametophyte generation, okay, there is one type, right? There is one. There's no male, there's no female. It's one. Okay? When it comes to the gymnosperm, there's a male cone and there's a female cone. Not once did you hear me say, when we get to the prothallus, right, that there is a male prothallus and there's a female prothallus. It was a prothallus. Okay, and by the way, a definition for the prothallus is the gametophyte generation of pteridophytes. That's it. It's the heart-shaped gametophyte generation of pteridophytes. Right. Okay. I've seen your questions. So as I'm going, I will answer them as we're going along. Hey, what do you think, AB? Do you think that's the way to do it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I want to try and make sure that you understand it. Next one. Okay. This is, I must open both so that I can get to my pens. Okay, let's see. Multicellular heart-shaped structure which contains antheridia and archegonia, and the prothallus is independent of the sporophyte. Why do we use such big words? Hey, what do you think? Life science is basic. It really is. It's basic. What makes it difficult is if you don't understand what words mean. So let's have a look at it. Okay, multicellular, lots of cells in the heart. Cool, right? Shape, it's a shaped structure like a heart. Cool, right. Contains antheridia, male parts of the plant. It contains archegonia, female parts of the plant. Yeah, cool, right? And they found on the prothallus, right? That's where they found, and the prothallus is independent of the sporophyte generation. In other words, it does not rely, or it does not get any of its stuff from the sporophyte generation. We cool. Doesn't need the sporophyte generation. Okay. If I look at the gymnosperms, right, it is reduced male and female gametes. In other words, they've taken it from big to small. Okay, they've made the gametes very small. Okay, then with no antheridia or archegonia. Okay, so the male gamete isn't by itself. The female gamete is by itself. So the female gamete has not got antheridia and archegonia, and the male gamete does not have antheridia and archegonia. That is the male, that is the female, right? They are inside the gymnosperm's male and female parts, right? The antheridia and archegonia. They're inside it, but they don't have the same thing on each of them. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, so that is the next one. And it also totally dependent on the sporophyte. In other words, that if the sporophyte generation did not work out, if it died, you ain't going to make any gametes. It needs the sporophyte generation to be there to make the gametes. Okay, so that's how we're going to table it. It's looking good, it's nice and easy. Right, so I've got one more left for you so you can answer this. And it is water. This is the what do you call it? How it pollinates each other, like I can say that. Okay, first of all, water is required. Remember, they swim. They do water mobility, right? So they move in the water. So water is required for sperm to swim towards ovum. They need to swim that way, right? When I have a look at the other side, right, no water is required for gametes to move along the pollen tube. Okay, a pollen tube. We'll talk about that next week. A pollen tube is how pollen makes what it does to get to the female part. Right. So, hope that made sense. Okay, that's tabulating. Go on the site, go and get the work, because I know you can. Right. Okay, so let me hear some more questions.
And thanks to everybody that took that chance and tried our challenge question. I saw a lot of answers. Thank you, Mansiters. Keep it up even some other time. The question number 1 is from Tabo and Litabo. Can you define the answer to 1.1, which was prothallus? What do we mean by the term prothallus?
Which I told you. A prothallus, right, is the heart-shaped gametophyte generation of pteridophytes. That's all it is. It's nice and simple. There is no more to that. Prothallus, the prothallus is the heart-shaped thing, and why does it have the word thallus on it? Is because it doesn't have true root stems or leaves. How's that? Okay, next one.
Cool. Next one. Fortune Yengwa. Are seeds going to be affected by the soil after pollination?
Read that one more time for me.
Are seeds going to be affected by the soil after pollination?
Of course. Right? Think about it. Certain plants live in certain soil types. So, for example, the pH of the soil, the acidity of the soil, right? So let's say this plant likes alkaline soil, right? And it falls in there and the soil's very acidic. It's not going to work, right? They're not going to be happy there, okay? Also, the soil sometimes breaks the seed coat on the outside. So it actually makes it soft, or it needs the acidity, for example, to break that seed coat open so that it can start germinating and growing, right? So, of course, the soil does affect the seed. It has to. Okay, it was a good question. It's a very good question. Of course it's going to do that. Right, what else?
Okay, let's move. Ayanda, why are the male corn smaller than the female corn? Please tell me.
Ah, nice. Now, the female cone, right, has got the seed in it, right? So it's got to be nice and big. Now, the seed is, or the female gamete is a lot bigger. It's called a megaspore, sorry. And the male is called a microspore. It's a small spore, okay? It only needs a sperm. Only needs a sperm, right? A single male gamete, very small one, right? And that comes along and it goes inside the female, okay? And that is where the seed is made, and that's going to get taken out, right? So the male sperm is very small. So why waste all your energy on a huge, huge cone, right? If all I'm going to do with this cone is have this male spores on the outside and shake it and it's going to fall off. The female, the smaller the cone, the less chance of the pollen falling on it, right? Think about it. Surface area, if you put a little dot on the ground and you take a ball and you drop it, a lot of the time it's not going to fall on the dot. If I make that dot a lot bigger and I drop it, 90% of the time I'm going to fall on the dot. The bigger the female cone, the better. Why must I waste energy on making a big cone when I can use a very small one to hold the male gametes? Come on. Smaller is better. It's less energy. Hope that makes sense. Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Right. Daniel, what does it mean when a plant is said to be a hermaphrodite?
Hermaphrodite.
Yes.
Do you know what a hermaphrodite is?
No.
Hermaphrodite is having male and female on the same place. Okay, so if you get a hermaphrodite person, they have the male and female sexual organs. That is hermaphrodite. Now you put that inside the tree as well. Okay, so is a pine a hermaphrodite plant? Think about it. Do you get pines? Are pines hermaphrodite? Do they have both male and female? Okay? Think about it. Of course they do. You get flowers, for example, right? Where they got the female part and they got the male part sticking out. It's the same thing. And then you get ones that are only male plants, and you get ones that are only female plants. And then you get ones that have both. The ones that have got both are called
Hermaphrodites.
hermaphrodites. Very nice. Any other ones?
Yes.
Let's hear.
Tami Tusi, can you please explain how the female corn receive the male corn gametes?
Gametes. I just said before we end it off, what happens is the male cone stands there and the wind starts blowing, and as the wind starts blowing, the little male gametes are on the outside and it starts falling off, right? And as they fall off, they're in the wind or the air, it falls onto the female cone, it travels down the little sides, right, into where the female cone is, right? It goes into the nucellus, and inside the nucellus, you're going to find the female gamete. They're going to mix together, fertilize. Well, it's going to mix together, create a seed. The seed is going to be pulled off by wind. Remember, I showed you that little helicopter type of thing. It's going to be pulled off. It's going to fly, and it's going to land on a thing. Germination is going to happen, grow into a new big tree. Hopefully that answered the question. Huh? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And it's answering also the following question, which was from Bongi, saying what happens when a male gamete falls on another type of a plant's female gamete?
A different type of plant. So not a cone-bearing plant, not a gymnosperm. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? Remember that plants are made for plants. Okay? And that's right, but gymnosperms are made for gymnosperms. It's like saying to me, what happens if you have a dog mate with a cat? Never going to happen, hey? It doesn't help. Nothing will happen. Okay? A male, even though that male gametes fall onto, for for example, a pistil, a flower pistil, right? It doesn't have the chemical structure to break down to actually go to the female gamete. So it's just going to sit there and nothing's going to happen. Okay, so hopefully that answers the question. Right.
Cool. Unfortunately, that's where we have to end
That's
today.
it.
We'll continue next week.
Definitely.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Right. Mindsetters, the answer to the challenge question will be posted. Already it's posted as a comment on that challenge question post. Otherwise, you can still take the test yourself questions up until 10 o'clock midnight. And you might be the winner tomorrow. But for today, that's where we have to end it. We just want to say peace, y'all.